Welcome back. Today's lesson is dividing decimals by decimals. You need to write the title down, the date in the top right hand corner, and now our standard. It's again 6NS3, which is fluently dividing decimals. And your I can statement for the day is I can divide a decimal by learning how to set up the problem correctly, and that's what we're going to focus on today.
All right, get that notes page started and then go on to the next page and we'll start the lesson. Here is what we're talking about today. Your divisor, the number out front today, is going to be a decimal instead of a whole number. So what we need to do is change this into a whole number to make our life easier. Instead of trying to figure out how many times does 6/100ths go into a number, we want to figure out how many times does 6 go into a number. So I'm going to slide my decimal to the right until it becomes a whole, which is the same thing as multiplying by 100. But whatever you do to the number in front, your divisor, you have to do the same thing to your dividend. So here I moved it over 2 spots in one of them. I did the same thing for my other one. And then most importantly, rewrite the problem when you're done. So this became 6 divided into 46.2. Now that we've rewritten it, that's where we would slide our decimal into our answer and continue with the problem. This one we're not going to divide out quite yet.
So we're going to practice just setting up what our problem would be so that we could divide. So in the first example, we have 8 4/10 divided by 1 9/10. We're going to have to move our decimal place 1 to the right on the outside. Whatever we do to the outside, we do to the inside. So we move it 1 to the right on the inside. And then we're going to rewrite the problem. 19 is going to go into 84. Do not solve and waste your time. On to problem number 2.
Hope you're listening. When you have a problem set up like this, remember our video from before, the number on the outside, or the first number is what goes on the inside of the problem. The second number is your divisor, goes out front.
So don't
write it
move
like this first
until it's set up.
Now you want to go ahead and move, because notice we only needed to slide 1 spot and do that for both numbers. So we ended up with 4 divided into 330.7. So set it up like this before you decide to start moving your decimal points.
Problem 3, you're going to go ahead and put that 4.076 in the inside and the 0.15 on the outside. Then we're going to move. Whatever we do to the outside, we do to the inside. So we move 1, 2 to the right on the outside and 1, 2 to the right on the inside. And we rewrite. 15 becomes our outside divisor and 407.6 is going inside the division bar.
Take the time to rewrite it after you move your decimal points. It'll clean up a lot of mistakes you might make otherwise in the problem. Last one. Here I need to move 1, 2, 3 spots to turn this into an 8.
We don't have 3 spots.
But I have to go 1, 2, 3 spots here, so I'm sure you can guess what we need to do. We just fill in with a 0. So this became 4,870 divided by 8.
Remember, you can add as many zeros behind as you need. All right.
All right, this is something where you're going to need to pause and write down our steps, and then we'll walk you through this first example. You need to change our divisor into a whole number like we just practiced. We're going to put the decimal in the same, or we're going to move the decimal the same in our dividend, the number on the inside, and then slide it up into our answer. Then we're ready to divide. So go ahead, pause, get that jotted down, and then we'll go through the problem together.
All right, we're going to set up the problem. 6/10 on the outside, 2 64/100 on the inside, and then we're going to follow our steps. Changing that outside into a whole number by sliding it 1 to the right. Step 2, whatever we did to the outside, we're going to do the inside, and then we're going to rewrite. So 6 is going to go into 26 4/10. We're going to put the decimal
into your answer.
Straight up the answer, and we're going to divide. 6 goes into 26 4 times. Multiply, we get 24. Subtract, we're remainder 2. Bring down that 4. 16 to the 24 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Subtract, we have nothing left over. Now, you don't necessarily bring down the decimal into your work. Just slide it into the answer and continue to divide.
All right, so let's try a couple more. 1.71, or 1 71/100ths, if you want to be fancy like Mrs. King, divided by 9/10. So first we set it up as a problem.
They better be thinking our outfits in green are fancy.
All right. Then we need to change our divisor into a whole number. So we slide our decimal, in this case, one spot. And we do the same thing to our dividend. Rewrite the problem. So it becomes 17.1 divided by 9. 9 goes into 17 one time. Subtract, we get 8. Bring down the 1. Notice the decimal just slides into our answer. It doesn't transfer down into the work down here. 9 goes into 81 9 times, which is 81. So we have 0 left over. We didn't need to add any zeros or keep dividing. It divided out quite nicely for us.
Our first double digit problem. 1.7 is going to go on the outside, 54.4 on the inside. We're going to slide that decimal one place to the right on the outside. Whatever we do to the outside, we do to the inside. And we are left with 17 into 544. So you're going to have to think. 17 is close to 20. 54 can round up to 60. How many times should you try to put 17 into 54? You might want to do it on the chicken scratch on the left or the right side of your paper.
I'm going to guess 3 times.
Yes, you are, which is
51.
So he is right. We're going to put a 3 above that 4 and multiply and put that 51 underneath. 54 minus 51 is 3. Bring down that 4. Did you make all these?
You made the problems.
Nice, 17.
You picked the problems.
Let's go 2 times, please.
This is also a good place where you could find your multiplication table could be handy for you, or doing some scratch work off to the side for you. But it does go in 2 times.
34 with a remainder of nothing. Look at how nice that is.
Weren't we nice to give you some nice, neat problems to try? All right, now it's your turn to try a few. So, 2 problems for you. First thing you want to do, rewrite them as division problems, slide your decimal points, and then go ahead and do your dividing. When you're ready, hit play again,
and let's see
check
how
your
you
answers
did.
and see how you did. You can go ahead with the first one.
I'm going to sneeze. Go.
All right. I'm going to go while she's trying to sneeze. So we put the 52 on the inside, 0.4 or 4/10 out front, slid our decimal 1 point or 1 spot. Remember, for 52, the decimal is right at the end, so we had to slide it out, which meant we had to kick in an extra 0. We divided it. Notice when we did our dividing, when we brought down that 0, there was 0 down here. Don't just stop. You still have to repeat our steps. 4 goes into 0 times. So a quick check is we're dividing it into 500. We're dividing it by 4, so our answer should be at least 100. If you had 13 for an answer, that's going to feel rather small, trying to go into 520.
All right, setting up the next one, you should have ended up with 9 going into 180 because you moved it 3 on the left and 3 on the inside. 9 goes into 18 twice. You multiplied 2 by 9 to get 18, and you were left with 0. Same thing as the first example. You have to bring down that 0, even though 9 goes into 0 times. That's the only way you're going to get an answer of 20 and not an answer of 2, which wouldn't make much sense in this problem. So go ahead and keep bringing down that 0 to make sense for your answer.
So every time you bring down a number, you have to repeat your steps all the way through. Every number that comes down has to be taken into consideration in your problem.
We'll talk about remainders in class.